do them first. I'll come in on the tail end.
Good afternoon, everyone, and we are so excited. We are live with a Dante production today. My name is LD Robinson, and I am from Ladero Design Works. And we are with Mr. Chauncey Dunham, owner of a Dante production. We are with Miss Schery Morales, who's an artist with a Dante, and we are with Chris Clarke of the Chris Clarke Trio. And we are so excited today because Chris and Schery are doing our upcoming P2V online concert entertainment, our online concert called Jazz on the Green. It will be shot this Friday night at the MOAS, the Museum of Arts and Sciences in Daytona Beach, and broadcast at 9 o'clock later that evening. And we are inviting you to come out and enjoy online in the comfort of your home. Enjoy wonderful jazz concert with Schery Morales and the Chris Clarke Trio. So welcome everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey there.
So we've had our introduction, and so I want from my side. So I'd like to take a couple minutes and with each one of you, and just tell us, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into our questions for the afternoon and enjoy ourselves. How about that? So, Chris, why don't you start with us and tell us a little bit about you and the trio?
The trio is a work in progress. We're members all of different groups also, but this trio came about, I'd say, about February, right before the pandemic became crucial and put everybody out of work. So we took the time that since we wouldn't be out to come together in safe quarters and work on material that nobody else would try as a trio, which is a task in itself. The bass player, he's a young guy coming new to Florida from Cuba, Randy Bordone. It's not often that you find an upright bass player. You find a few of them in the jazz world, but not in the Latin world, who want to play jazz, straight ahead jazz, traditional. And it was great to collaborate with him and start working with him. And it's a work in progress. It's a learning process. My drummer is the Dimas Sanchez, Grammy Award and author also. We also play in another group, and due to everything through the COVID-19, we decided, well, we're amongst each other enough to feel safe to come together. So it worked out very well. And then bringing to the table his years of experience, along with my experience in time, being a jazz master from Kansas City, Missouri, we came together and formulated the trio.
Well, I will say that having been with you, you guys sound fantastic.
Thank you. It's just all it takes is a little work. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with a little work, a little hard work and practice. You can see the benefits what happens when you practice.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in today's, the art itself is an art form. This music that we perform and play, it is an art form. And we have a very high responsibility and accountability to do it the best that we can.
I agree. Schery, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Morales? Ramon?
Roman. It's Roman. Yes, Morales. Well, my name's Scheherazada Morales. You can call me Schery. It's a lot easier than Scheherazada. I am from Orlando, Florida, most of my life. I'm Puerto Rican. I have had the awesome opportunity and privilege of getting to know Chauncey and Dante Productions. And I'm really excited to have all of these new opportunities and get to work with wonderful professionals like the Chris Clarke trio. And they're awesome. And I'm just really excited to collaborate with them. I've had some opportunities already to do some other genres with the company, and but now I'm getting to do a little bit of jazz, and I'm really excited about it. So,
Well, you sound fantastic, I'll tell you that. So I'm excited about the show coming up. And Mr. Dunham, would you give us a little bit? So you're the owner of Dante Productions, which is it comprised of artists with different backgrounds, different sounds. How do you bring that all together for things like placing Schery and Chris together for Jazz on the Green? So what drives you a little bit to do this, to have this particular company at this point in your life?
Well, I'm Chauncey Dunham, and I was supposed to be retired. And instead of retiring, I decided to rewire. I came from Philadelphia in a musical environment. However, I decided to get another job. And I was in the Pentagon most of my career. And after retiring and moving to Florida, I got bored. And I decided to do something different and interesting. So I went back to my roots. And most of the people that I've met, Chris, Schery, and the others, really was totally by accident. When I came to Florida, I felt that I wasn't going to find any musicians. And much to my surprise, I have found some fantastic musicians. I'm proud of each one of them. And I will repeat to you what I told Chris during a conversation. I am not looking to climb the ladder, but I do want to hold the ladder for other people to climb.
Well, I think you're doing a great job with Dante. I will say that. Having been in the studio, I think the artists, they are, it shows that they're committed to their craft. And that comes through very much through the sound and the vocals and the music. So good job on coming to Florida and rewiring. So we're going to start with our questions. Thank you very much for introducing yourselves. And so the first question for Schery and Chris, and Schery will let you go first, is when did you first realize that music and performing was what you wanted to do?
Oh gosh, if you ask my grandmother, since a baby, I remember. I mean, this is gonna sound probably very cliche, but I remember singing in the living room and singing for my grandmother, and her watching me, and I was second grade, and you know, she knew. Yeah, she saw the spark, and no, I've always known. Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
For me, it's a lifetime. This is all that I've done aside from 10.5 years in the Army.
Wow. Okay. I'm impressed. I have always wanted to play an instrument, and I've never, apart from the recorder in elementary school, that's been the extent of my instrument playing. I think I sing okay. I certainly would dare try to do what Miss Schery did a couple of weeks ago with Minnie Riperton. Not professionally anyway. In my shower, it's a whole different ballgame, right? I sound better than Whitney. I sound better than Patty. I sound better than everybody in my shower. It's something that way in your shower, you got the water. You know what people don't think about is when they're singing in their shower, you know, the water drowns out a lot of stuff.
No, it's the acoustics. You have the
nice. Our next question is: music touches us in many ways. It really is the one thing that sort of bypasses our mind and goes straight to the core of who we are and connects with us in ways that we don't necessarily or we don't consciously think about, right? And good music and good vocals do that for us. They take us to another place. And my question is, um, as an artist, how does this unconscious behavior from your listeners affect how and what you choose to play or sing?
Is that for Chris or for me?
Both of you. Both of you. Let's start with Chris.
For me, that direct energy.
Mm-hmm.
Playing that specific tune or whatever tune that you play, it is a direct link and a spiritual that you give. You freely give, and sometimes when you're playing, let's say, to a cold house,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem like anybody's being very receptive of giving you any energy.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably get it later. You're packing up, getting ready to get on the bus and head out or drive away, and somebody will say, "Hey, such and such song. Uh, I really knew what you was doing at that point."
Mm-hmm.
The idea in your mind that even though people don't say something at that exact same moment, there people are listening because for me as a musician, everything I do, everybody listens to.
Mm-hmm.
So never take it for granted that nobody's really listening, even though you don't receive that energy back at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's one of the things that a musician lives by. To whatever that they're doing, it touches the audience in some form or fashion.
Yes,
That
I
is your
agree.
direct link, which keeps you. For some people, they go overboard. They have to have attention. Um, we freely give this the art form
Mm-hmm.
its place. They used to say years ago, "Well, jazz is dying. It's not marketable." Jazz ain't never dying. Music is never dying.
No.
It just takes another generation or the next great inspirational person to come and play something that touches the next. That is the direct link for me as a musician. That energy when you
Mm-hmm.
play live in the days before when we play the clubs or something, and that table that sits right in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
they get your direct link.
Mm-hmm.
You most times what I usually tell the rest of my group is play to the person that's in the back seat of the back of the hall. That last seat in the house. That's who you play to.
Hmm.
Everybody up front, they're gonna get your energy. But play to that last person in the back of the room. And most times, 9.9 out of 10, that's who gets it.
Makes good sense. Play to the back of the room. I like that. It actually extends your reach, right? Uh,
Yes.
and in some ways it increases your capacity, because if your capacity is just to the front row, then you don't ever really
Nobody in the
grow
back that
as an
knows
artist,
right.
right? And so if
It's just
you
a way to project your energy.
yes, I like that. I like that. Sherry, how about you?
I would
How does that unconscious behavior that we have as listeners of music, how does that affect what you sing, knowing that people will be touched by what they hear?
So I would agree with a lot of what Chris said. It is about what we like and what we connect with, but then we're also inviting others to connect with us through the music. So, I mean, I'm going to sing, if I want them to see my heart, so I'm going to sing stuff that touches me. And in this example, in this instance, I love jazz. I've always loved jazz. I remember listening to a record. I think it was Barnes and Noble store with Ella Fitzgerald when I was younger, and I was listening to this record, and I was like, oh my gosh, her voice is just so beautiful and smooth and buttery, and and this music, and I hadn't been exposed to that. But then I started listening, and I fell in love. So it makes me happy, when you put on music that just gives you I call them warm fuzzy, warm fuzzies, or you can connect with, or sometimes even give a good cry, but in the end you feel better. And it's that social connection also with people and with experiences, and just being human. Yeah, music is such a wonderful thing.
I agree. So, Chauncey, I guess I have to ask you, as someone who is in the business of providing this thing that connects with people, how does it affect the artists that you choose? Does that come into play, their ability to maybe not just have great vocals or be a great musician? Does it affect whether they're able to connect with people outside of their talent or skill?
I'm going to answer that two ways. Not only outside, with us, they have to have the ability to connect inside, because we have, out of all the people we have, everybody is a joy to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And if we find an individual, which we have, that does not fit well, we sort of let them go, because it takes a whole team to make this work. And that is my primary interest, having a good team, because behind the scenes, I can tell the energy both Chris and Schery put into what they do.
Yes.
I put in the same amount of energy on the budget, the licensing, all of those things. Like, I text Schery and said, we got a song that you are beautiful with, but you can't sing it yet because I don't have the license yet. And I have to protect both the company and all of the entertainers. Chris is very knowledgeable about the business side. And every now and then, if he thinks I'm not knowledgeable about something, he'll shoot me an email to make sure that I know it. So, and the purpose is to protect everybody and make sure nobody gets themselves or the company in a jam. And then after all of that, then I look at the talent. Are they a good talent? There's some people that sing in the shower and they think they're good, but I don't.
I think I'm really good.
Therefore, we can be friends, but they have to continue to sing in the shower.
I just sing the house down in the shower.
You keep singing in the shower, girl.
I love singing solos that you can't hear me.
So, okay, so I have to ask, Schery, what is good music to you?
Good music. Oh my gosh, that is so subjective to me. Good music makes me feel something. Whether it is getting up and dancing, or make me feel emotions, or just give me some kind of joy. That's what good music is to me. I don't know. Just gets me. Maybe you can even say, like, maybe it makes me closer to God or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good music.
Chris, what is good music to you?
To me, good music is any music that stirs an emotion, whether it be in rhythm, it make you want to dance, or it stirs some type of emotion to you. You don't always got to remember it, but the moment that you are experiencing it, then you recognize that this is something different and out of the ordinary, or it is something that stirs up an emotion, whether it be happy or sad. Um, but it directly gives you an emotion.
I agree with both of you on that, on what good music is. Mr. Dunham, what is good music to you?
I didn't expect these questions. All music is good music to me. There's some that I prefer. What really, and this will probably shock Chris and Schery, what really stirs me is a good symphony.
That does not shock me. You're a classy.
Oh, okay.
You're a classy
That's
man.
not surprising.
Okay.
Surprising. I agree. I love good symphonies, and yep.
I lived in Boston for a while, and I really enjoy going to see the Boston Pops.
John Williams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good music.
As a matter of fact, when the Boston Pops did the Beatles for the first time, I was there.
Oh, wow.
That's something different. It's unique.
Very,
It's out of the ordinary of what you would hear the Boston Pops play.
very different.
And then being directed by John Williams, who's a master, just to experience that and hearing what they would do with an arrangement of the Beatles.
It was
That's pretty fantastic.
unbelievable.
Pretty fantastic. So the next set of questions I have are for Chris. And Chris, I am going to say that I had the pleasure of watching the trio, you, your bassist, and your drummer, in the studio while you were recording promotional videos. And I have to say that you all are really, really, really good. I was in the studio and I had my own personal concert, and that really, I love jazz, and so I was like, is that all they're gonna do? So and actually, you guys played for quite some time. I think you did like 8 songs, and I still was not. I could have just kept listening to you all, really. How do you create the synergy that is really very obvious between the three of you? I mean, the cues that are not very obvious, and I can see your drummer paying attention to your movement, whether you're speeding up on the piano or slowing down, and your basses. You know, that is that synergy, and to get that kind of music straight for the entire time that you all were there, those signals between you, how do you develop that type of synergy that produces that kind of sound, because it's an excellent sound?
First, most practice.
Mm-hmm.
The more we practice together, the more we learn. In best case scenario, if we played out, if we gigged 2 or 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
on a performance level, okay, that's the experience. That's the time put in. Oh yeah, we played at the Keystone and we did these tunes. And I remember when we got to the chorus, you went like this, and after you do that 3 or 4 times, that becomes relative knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's not about, okay, I know what he's going to do come this measure in the bar. It's the creative aspect. Oh, second most, we all listen to each other. You'll find a lot of different musicians in different scenarios that don't listen to each other. It means that they're not playing together. How could you play together with somebody and not listening to your fellow musician who you are performing this with?
That's true.
One of the aspects, especially in trio setting, that is very, very, very apparent. It's only 3 people. If you're not listening to the other 2, then that means this is not really a trio. This is just you and somebody to play behind you. Which is, I mean, it's apparent. How we've gotten that synergy is from repetitive, due to this COVID-19, repeating practice. Once you get past the knowledge, then now you you work on the creative aspect. Since you know everybody's listening to everybody, well, if I do this, that gives him an opportunity, and if he's listening, he'll have an opportunity to do something else. The drummer may have a certain riff that he wants to play, or to add sound and time. It's not just a percussive instrument and keeping time. That aspect, all three of those aspects, from bass, from the drums, from the piano, have to be learned until you can be totally creative, where you don't have to worry. Hopefully, we have gotten to the point now we're on the creative rise. We've learned the charts. We know what the charts do. We know where they go. Now we can be creative in expressing musically to the audience the beauty of this.
It certainly comes through. I mean, it's I felt like I had received the sweetest of treats being in the studio that day, listening to you all. And so I want to say thank you, because it could have been a different experience, you know, but it wasn't. It was a really sweet experience. And my next question is for Schery. I also had the pleasure of being in the studio with you as you were recording promotional material. And what I did not know is that the headphones that artists have on their ears so they can hear the music. I don't know what I thought they were for, but I thought I had never been in a studio setting. And so I thought I would be hearing the music that they were playing, and I would hear you and the music. That's not exactly how it works. But I will say that listening to you sing with no music was also a very, very sweet treat.
Okay, that's good.
I was expecting something different because I thought I would hear the music pipe through. I didn't realize they were piping it through your ears so that you know what you were seeing, and not so I knew what I was hearing. And it was beautiful. So how do you consistently deliver vocals that audiences want to hear? I mean, because you sang a number of songs, a number of different types of songs, a number of different songs in different ranges. How do you do that consistently?
There's a little bit of an echo. I just want to let you know. I don't know, maybe they can mute their microphones, just so you know. But anyway, gosh. So how do I deliver consistently? Putting in the work. It's not really magic. You just put in the work and pay attention and really get to know the songs. And that what we were doing, we were recording. It was straight takes, like one take, song after song after song. So they're not by any means perfect. I'm not gonna say they're perfect, but you know what? You just do your best, and if you love it, it won't be such a. I love rehearsing. You know, I love practicing the songs and warming up. Vocalists, you got to warm up. But yeah, just paying attention to your body and doing what you got to do. Drink a little bit of tea before you sing. You got to hear me raw, just no effects, no music, just pure vocals. So I kind of want to be on your end and be a wallflower.
It was pretty sweet, I'll tell you that. I was very pleasantly surprised. One, at seeing the process, being in a studio where there was live recording. And two, being treated with such sweet sound. Really, really true. So thank you very much. Now, my next question is for the both of you as well. And I hear an echo. I'm not sure exactly where it's coming. I'll see. My next question is for the both of you. If you could meet and chat with any single musician or artist, who would it be? Schery.
I could meet with any artist. Well, there's some artists that I probably can't meet with them now because they're deceased. But I would, I'm a big fan. I grew up. I'm Latina. I grew up with Selena. I love Selena. I would love to have gotten to, to meet her and ask her some questions. I love her. And then also, I said earlier, Ella. Love Ella. I would love to, see what's it like. What was it like? What was your experience? Like, how do you get to know her soul a little bit? What makes her tick, and how she's just so dang talented and captivating. She just captivates me. So that's why I would love to have a conversation with those, but there's so many artists. There's so many amazing artists, and, like Minnie Riperton.
Yes.
You,
Chris? If there was any one
there's
artist,
too many to list.
Who would it be?
There's just too many. Well, the top of the list would be Oscar Peterson. Because I started out when I first started as a musician, I started as a bass player. So I should say Ray Brown, but for piano, I would say Oscar Peterson, then Chick Corea, who I've met already once, or a couple of times in Kansas City. An all-time classical piano player would be Andre Watts. I was brought up in New York, and one of the aspirations of my family and my mother was for me to embark on classical music. And for her, that was the pinnacle. To be able to, I've gone to the Andre Watts competitions a couple of times, but I've never met him personally. But he was all for having classical chops, but be able to play jazz. Although he never played jazz, he always played classical. But there's a list that is growing all the time because so many people are passing away these days.
Yeah.
There's too many to name.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that stick out for me.
Okay. Mr. Dunham?
Yes.
If there were an artist you could meet, who would it be?
I have been blessed. Most of the artists that come to my mind, I have met them already. I really enjoy a lot of them. And like both Chris and Schery said, a lot of them have passed away. So right now, I looked at my calendar when I got home today, and I got too much to do to pass away. So I'm looking forward to the artists that we have being at the same level that the artists that I've met.
Yes. Being those ones that people want to meet, right?
You got it. You got it.
That's it. And I believe we certainly have that with the Chris Clarke Trio and Schery Morales. I do believe that Jazz on the Green will be quite a virtual treat and quite an online concert that everyone will enjoy. And so I do have one other question, and I saw when Schery signed on, she's got music, instruments in her office, and I see a couple of things. So I do have one question. How many instruments do you play? Schery?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a vocalist.
You're a vocalist.
I'm a vocalist, but I do play a little bit of guitar.
Cuss out the guitar. So I was like,
Yeah, I can play some little bit of rhythm guitar and maybe plunk some things out. I play a mean pandereta in Spanish. You know? Tambourine. I have a foot tambourine also. I guitar.
Yeah.
I attach a little foot tambourine.
Uh-huh.
I can, do that.
Okay.
I can play some percussion instruments. I have a great appreciation for musicians like the Chris Clarke Trio, though. I have enormous respect for that. So, but I'm, mostly a vocalist.
Chris, how many instruments do you play?
I would say 9.
Wow.
Organ, piano,
Amazing.
bass,
Amazing.
soprano sax, percussion, guitar,
Wow.
trumpet.
He's got so many he's lost track.
A lot of times it's whatever I got to do.
Oh, that is fantastic. Fantastic. Well, we do want to remind everyone that you can see the Chris Clarke Trio and Schery Morales at Jazz on the Green September the 18th, 9 p.m. on DanteProduction.com. If you look there in the lower hand of the corner, you will see that lower quadrant of your screen, you can see that you can follow a Dante Production. And we want to make sure that you've got the right information for Jazz on the Green. It will be filmed at the Museum of Arts and Sciences in Daytona Beach. It will air 9:00 p.m. on a Dante Production. And it is a P2V online concert. Tickets are $10. And you will be able to, you can buy your tickets right now. And if you need any information, feel free to call the number on the bottom of your screen. And we look forward to you enjoying some really great jazz and some great vocals and some great music this coming Friday night with a Dante production. And this happens to be a Dante production called Dante's Den, the artist. And Schery and Chris, you are inaugural artists for Dante's Den. So thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to an excellent concert on Friday. And Mr. Dunham, thank you for joining us in your own den today. We really appreciate it. And we want to invite you all to, if you tune into this, share it on social media so that we pack the house, if you will, this coming Friday with the Chris Clarke Trio and Schery Morales for Jazz on the Green. And thank you, everybody, for joining me today. And we will see you all on Friday. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all.
See ya.